Okay, the next topic is cash flow statement. Okay, come back. What do we mean by cash flow statement? Name itself is saying cash flow statement. That means it's not an account but a statement that we prepare to capture cash coming into the organization, cash going out of the organization. Just a statement which tracks the inflow and outflow of cash. Though they use the term cash, but in reality it is cash and cash equivalents. Meaning this statement captures cash info also, bank info also, and all those instruments which can be converted into cash within a period of 3 months. That is also considered as a cash and cash equivalent itself. Is this okay? So for a simplistic purpose, you can understand it as cash flow statement includes cash also, check also, or banking transactions also. Fair enough? So we are trying to capture the inflows and outflows. These information we are trying to capture under 3 buckets. Inflows and outflows. The first bucket being cash flow from operating activities. Second bucket is cash flow from investing activity. Third bucket is cash flow from finance activity. We capture the info, put it under these 3 headers. Are we okay? What is the first header we saw? Operating activities. Can you think of certain examples of cash which can form part of operating activity? Operation means what? Something which is related to business on a day-to-day basis. Think how will the companies get the cash or pay the cash as part of their daily activities? What and all could be that? Sale of goods. Will we account sale of goods? What is the statement name? Cash. That means we are interested in cash components. That means it is not just sale, it is cash sales. Or if you're doing a credit sale, you will later receive the cash from debtors. So cash received from debtors is also operating activity. Correct? Cash purchase, cash paid to creditors is also part of your operation, hence operating activity. Any expenses like salary to employees, rent, electricity, all these office and administrative expenses also is part of your operations. Hence, it is also an example of operating cash flow. Are we okay? So far, okay? These are some common examples. Not that this is only exclusive. These are some things which we see more often than not. So these are the examples of operating activity. What is the second bucket? Cash flow from investing activity. So now you think, where and all can you invest? First think about within the organization, where and all can you invest? If you have money, where will you first invest in? Fixed assets, correct? So purchase of fixed asset is what activity? Investing activity. If you can purchase them, you can also sell them. So sale of fixed asset is what activity? Investing. So is it necessary we have to buy only tangible fixed assets, or you can also buy intangibles? So intangible asset purchased, intangible asset sold. All this also is what? Investing activity. Then if you have still surplus money, then what will you do? Invest outside in the form of shares or debentures. So investment purchased in the form of shares or debentures is also part of your investing activity. If you can invest them, you can also sell them. So sale of investment also is investing activity. Why do you invest? For what purpose? To get either, if you invest in other company ka debentures, what are you going to get? Interest. If you invest in other company equity shares, what are you going to get? Dividend. So interest received, dividend received are also part of your investing activity. These are some of the common examples of investing activity ka cash flows. There so far. The last bucket is what? Financing activity. Financing activity is a way of raising money. Think how and all can an organization raise its money? First, by giving shares. For equity shares. So can I say issue of equity shares is what activity? Investing or finance activity. If you can issue them, you can also buy back equity shares. So buy back equity shares is what activity? Buyback means cancel. So cancel equity shares is what activity? Finance activity. You can also give away what? Preference shares. And you can also cancel preference shares. So issue of preference shares as well as redemption of preference shares is finance activity. Or you can also give debentures. So issue of debentures and redemption of debentures, both are finance activity. Or another way of raising finance is taking a simple bank loan. So bank loan taken, bank loan repaid is also part of your finance activity. If you take a bank loan or if you give away debentures, what you need to pay? So interest paid is a finance activity. If you give equity shares, what do you need to pay? Dividend. So dividend paid is a finance activity. These are some common examples. There will be certain exceptions to all of this, which we will learn as we go along. Are we okay? What are the exceptions I'm talking about? Anyone can tell me? We gave a loan to creditors. Loan given is, or loan, loan given is an investment, not loan taken. Loan given. Loan given to rather debtors. Loan taken from creditors, it should be okay. Or else loan given to debtors only, will take it. Debtor had to pay the money. We told pay after 1 year. That means it is what? It's like a loan we have given to him. Yes or no? That means loan given is in part of your investment. Yes or no, guys? Not taken. Given. Yes. But debtors is part of your operations. That means given to him, debtors will be also part of operating cash flow. Like this, exceptions will come around. That we'll take it when we see the problem. For the time being, we'll not touch too much about the exceptions. We'll only work upon the basics. Let's get our basics first and then we'll look at the complex scenarios. Are we okay? Again, a potential 10 marker, about 10 markers. It's not that it can't be asked for a lesser marks, but there is a good scope to ask it for, because it can be quite lengthy cash flow statement. They can make it as lengthy as possible. So yeah, potential, there's a potential can be asked for 20 marks also. You can make the adjustments that complex or that much that can be asked for 20. Also, they have asked in the past. We'll see in your attempt, will they can't breach that barrier. Let's see if they can reach that. After the exams, we'll get to know. So those, whatever we discussed has been put forth here. Same. This portion we will read a little later. These are certain exceptions. First we'll do a few problems, get our basics right, and then we'll come back to this portions. Okay, maybe income tax we'll touch upon because it is relevant for us in this problem. Income tax paid. First of all, we are capturing cash flows under 3 buckets. Those are operating, investing and finance. Company paid income tax. Every company has to pay provided if there is any profit. Let's assume that there is a profit and they paid 3 lakh rupees income tax. Cash went out for 3 lakhs. Will it come in cash flow statement? Will it come in cash flow statement or we'll ignore it off? It will come because it is a outflow of cash, and cash flow statement is only trying to capture the inflows and outflows. So this is an outflow, so it will come under which category though? Operating, investing or finance? Operating, investing or finance? There is an exception to it. If the income tax exclusively relates to operating activity, means put it under operating cash flows. Or you must tax students. Some of you are tax students? No, you're not. Then no tax at all here. BCom, long-term capital gain tax, short-term capital gain and all you've learned. So that is related to your investment. See, if any tax is related to investing activity, means tax paid on that activity also should be shown under investing activity. On dividend also we pay, our accounting students only, we'll go for accounts only, why tax? On dividend we pay dividend distribution tax, DDT, or also known as corporate dividend tax, CDT, correct? That is when it attracts when you pay dividend. Dividend paid is what activity? You took equity shares or preference shares, hence you're paying the dividend. So equity shares are given as a finance activity, means dividend paid also is a finance activity, correct? So on that tax, DDT is getting attracted. That means you will show this DDT under which category? Finance activity, because dividend is part of your finance operation, like that. If they just give income tax, mostly you pay the tax related to your day-to-day operations, hence we book it under operating activity. As a thumb rule, operating activity. If additional information is available to substantiate that it belongs to either investing or finance, we will put it there. Generally, it comes under operating activity. So far, are we okay? All right. Okay. Insurance claim received, we'll take it up later. What is the first bucket? What is the first bucket we discussed? To find operating cash flow, we have 2 methods. Either you can go for direct method or you can go for indirect method. And again, cash flow statement is backed by accounting standard 3. can write here only as per AS3. We have an accounting standard AS3 as cash flow statement. So the treatment we are doing it as per the accounting standard itself. So AS3 says to find operating cash flow, you can use either a direct method or you can go for indirect method. Only for operating cash flow. Investing and finance activity is common. There is no method. There's just one format or one way of going about it. Today we'll first touch upon the direct method. If time permits, we will go for indirect method. We'll see. That time will tell. Can we get to the question direct? First question. Rather, we'll do the second one. Second one is a little more easy with no adjustments. We'll start off with second and then we'll come back to the first. Prepare cash flow statement from the following data as on 31st March for A Limited. You're right. A statement, cash flow statement for this particular company you need to prepare. They have given opening cash as well as they have given opening balance of bank. We already told the cash flow statement includes both cash as well as banking transactions. They have given the opening balance. Share, if you just check the heading there, what have they given the heading to be? Inflow and outflow. So inflow means cash coming in. So receipt, outflow is a payment. Okay. So the company has given some shares and how much money came in? 5 lakh rupees. All this has happened within this year only. Cash flow statement is also part of your financial statements. Financial statements will include P&L, balance sheet, cash flow statement, notes to accounts. Okay. So all this has to be prepared. Cash flow statement has to be prepared every year. So all this information what they have given is during the year only. Something which has happened during the year. During the year we gave shares worth how much? Worth 5 lakh. Okay. So tell me which activity. If you give away, they don't say, we take it as equity shares. Equity shares issued for 5 lakh rupees. What activity? Equity shares is a way of raising money. So it's a way of raising finance. So that means this is part of your finance activity. F for finance activity. Collections from debtors. Debtors, creditors and all are related to our day-to-day operations. That means this is what? Operating cash flow. O. Can I go for the next? Sale of fixed assets. Fixed asset purchased is what activity? Investing. So sale of fixed asset also what activity? That means here I'll write I as an investing activity. Payment to creditors, part of your operation. So O. Salary and wages, part of your operation. So O. Payment of overheads, again part of your production, or it could be indirect overheads also, but still like part of your day-to-day operations. So still O. Fixed asset acquired, investing activity. Debentures redeemed means debentures paid back or debentures cancelled. So you took money from debentures, now you're paying back the money. So what is it? It's a way of raising the money. So this is a way of repaying that finance. So it's a finance activity. Bank loan repaid also is a finance activity. Taxation, we know that this is specific, but if no adjustment is there means we club it under operating activity. No adjustment is there. See, that's all they've given. Only the table they gave and asked us to prepare the cash flow statement. Hence it is part of your operations. Okay. Dividend. Is it dividend paid or dividend received? Why am I categorizing them? Because dividend paid is a finance activity. Dividend received is a investing activity. They just told dividend. So it is a dividend paid or dividend received? Paid, because this column heading is outflow. So that means dividend, what is this? Dividend paid. That means it's part of your finance activity. Then closing cash balance. Easy. Cash flow statement is like your PUC ka BRS. What is BRS now? Bank reconciliation statement. You start with cash book, cash book was it? You start with cash book means you should end up with passbook. Yes or no? It should tally. It will. Yes or no? If it doesn't means you did a mistake. Correct? Cash flow statement is like that. You start with opening balance, do certain adjustments. We don't literally start with the opening balance, but we take the cash flow from all the activities. To that, if you add opening balance, compulsorily you should get closing balance. If you don't get, you're 100% sure you can be that you have only done something wrong. Okay, or it could be a typo also, but more often than not, it will be Our mistake, है ना? So this is our first question. Can we start with this solution? Question number 2. Cash flow statement. A Limited, as on which date? Have they given the date? They didn't give a excuse me, 31st March 20x2. We are still doing under direct method. First few problems under direct method, and then we will start with indirect method. They will not generally mention this in the question. You need to identify in most cases whether it is a direct method or a indirect method. At this point of time, I'll not talk about it because we do not know what is indirect method. At least some of us know, but still, since I have not told, so we'll not get to how to identify that. First, we'll do 1 or 2 problems of indirect method. Then I'll tell you how to identify whether it's a direct method wala question or a indirect method. All right. So it's a statement. So please don't write debit, credit, and all. So particulars, you can just have one amount column, or you can keep the first amount column as a working and have second amount column as a final result. That is your choice. So we'll start with, we'll keep 2 for the time being, 2 amount columns. First bucket, what did I say? Is, so Roman letter 1, cash flow from operating activities. This is your first bucket. So we already wrote the components in our question itself. Check what's the first thing we wrote as O. What is O? Collections from debtors. That's part of your operating activity. So we'll write that under operating activities. Cash from, or rather collections from debtors. How much did we collect from debtors? So it's a statement. So in a statement, there's no debit and credit, right? So how do you represent an inflow? As a positive number. Outflow will be represented as a negative number. This is an inflow or an outflow. When I'm talking from company's perspective. From company's perspective, they received cash. How much cash did they receive? 3,50,000. So plus 3,50,000 or just 3,50,000, you're right. Which outflow will denote it in brackets. Next, we made some payment to creditors. Come to the outflow side, you will be able to see this. Payment to creditors we made to what extent? Part of your operation only, plus or minus? Since it's an outflow, minus 90,000. Next, salaries and wages. Again, part of your operations and still an outflow, so minus 25,000. Next, payment of overheads. How much did we pay? 15,000. Next is what? Fixed assets, debentures, bank loan, all these are other than operating. How about taxation? How about taxation? Taxation, operating. So first we will sum this up. How much is this now? Tax will have to give a separate disclosure as per AS3. You can't club it here. Just have to show it separately. So add everything of this. How much number you're getting? Or maybe here only you can show and plug everything. That's fine. Since you kept this as an amount column. How much? 2 lakh? 2,20,000. Oh? So we'll call this as cash flow before tax and extraordinary items. Cash flow before tax and extraordinary items, or you can also write cash generated from operation before tax and extraordinary item. Next, tax will we receive from the government or we will pay? You're laughing. We can we receive refund also, no? So it could be receipt also. But first, for that you have to pay. So here it's a case of taxation. So less tax paid here. So how much is that? 55,000. Refund and all, if they only take. Just they say tax, don't say tax, refund and all. And your whole thing will be wrong. If it is refund, clearly they will mention. So this is 55,000. Then net number. Net cash flow from operating activities. Net cash flow from operating activities, we'll call this as A. How much is this plus minus? We do plus, how much? 1 lakh? 1,65,000 is the number that you're getting as net cash flow from operating activities. After netting off everything, total is 1,65,000. This is the first bucket is over. Separately. Yes, separately. Don't club here. She's saying, can I put tax here only? Don't. No, we did. Check. Maybe after few problems we did, I guess. After few problems we'll get lazy, no? Format we'll show for 2, 3. Then you'll have to stick around. Second is what? Second bucket is what? Cash flow from investing activities. Cash flow from investing activities. So go back to the question, check the inflow. Is there any investing activity under inflow column? Yes, we have one, which is what? Sale of fixed assets. So how much is that sale of fixed asset? When you sell, you will get the money or you will pay the money? You'll get the money. So it's a plus. Come to the outflow side of things. What are the investing activities we have? We have fixed assets acquired or purchased. How much is that acquisition amount? 4 lakh. Inflow, outflow. So minus. Debentures redeemed, again finance. Bank loan also is finance. Tax already covered. Dividend here was not received, but dividend is paid. That's all is part of your investing. So if you do this, you're going to get net cash flow from investing activities. So we'll call this as B. Okay, how much is that number? So it is not plus, you'll have to pay attention to the signs here. So minus 3,30,000. So that is your investing ka drama done. Third one is third bucket is cash flow from finance activities or financing activities. Come to the inflow side. Is there any finance activity? Yes, we have issued some shares. Which shares we don't know, so we will also not write. So we'll just write shares issued how much? 5 lakh. When you give the shares, you will receive the money. So it's an inflow. Come to the outflow side. Is there any finance activity? Debentures we have first. Oh, okay. Debentures redeem. How much redemption? So it's an inflow, outflow. So minus. Next. Bank loan has been repaid to what extent? 2,50,000. Yes, that's all. One more is there, which is what? Dividends paid. How much is dividends paid? 1 lakh. So that's all. So if you do this, you're going to get net cash flow from financing activity or finance activity, plus minus will come up to 3 4, so 1 lakh. So 1 lakh positive or negative? Positive. Okay, we'll call this as C. Next, net increase slash decrease. Net increase slash decrease in cash and cash equivalents. Net increase or decrease in cash equivalents, which is given by A plus B plus C, not minus. Or add every activity, you'll get all the activities put together how much cash flow. Your operating activity generated 1 lakh 65, investing generated 330, minus 330 though. Finance however generated plus 1 lakh. So that means net increase or decrease is how much then? Minus or plus? Minus or plus? Minus how much? Minus 65,000. So that means you did all this drama, but to find that no cash inflow this time, 65,000 out only it is. Okay. So to this, if you add opening cash balance, it's not opening cash alone, it is what? Opening cash and cash equivalents. So we had how much cash balance? How much did we have? 10,000. Bank opening balance, how much do we have? That means opening balance is how much? 80,000. We had 80. We spent off through all the activities minus 65. That means if you do this, compulsorily you should get what I told? The closing balance. We are getting the closing balance to be how much? 15,000. They have also given closing balance in this one, a problem. Check. Is it tallying? Closing cash and cash equivalents. They gave us how much? Cash balance was 5. So bank balance is 10. So it is matching. So what we did is correct. If it doesn't tally, go through any adjustment, you would have skipped. That's all. It's not necessary in all the cases they will give closing balance. Sometimes institute will play trick. They will not give closing balance. They'll only give opening balance. That means now students will double check. Because it is, we don't know. If we don't know answer, no. Sometimes because we are used to doing it this way. In examination, if closing balance is not there, means little doubt will come in. Whatever I've done is right or wrong, again you'll check. That also is possible. Most cases they do give. Now the copying portion. Done, huh? This is direct method. Okay. Alright. So problem number 2 is done. Can we start with the first question? Anyone had to copy any portion of the previous one by the way? Or finished? Okay. Prepare cash flow statement as on 31st March. Again, write as A Limited only. It's okay. First pointer. Furniture with a book value of 15,500 has been disposed of for 12,000. So book value is 15,500. You sold it for 12,000. That means what did you make? You made a profit on sale or loss on sale? Loss on sale. How much loss on sale? 3,500. What are you preparing? Cash flow statement. Are you preparing P&L account? That means which number are you really interested in? How much cash came in or how much cash went out? So which number is that now? You sold and you got how much? 12,000. So the only thing we are interested for direct method is 12,000. For indirect method, this adjustment will have a relevance later. Tomorrow we'll see. Okay, for the time being, the number we are looking at is 12,000. And what sort of an activity is furniture sale? Investing activity. Next, machine costing 3,10,000 was purchased and 20,000 was spent on its installation. So purchase of machinery first of all is what activity? Investing activity. You'll write the amount as 3,10,000 or 3,30,000. 3,10,000 or 3,30,000. What will you write? 3,30,000, because whatever installation charges should be capitalized, meaning it should be added to the cost of machinery. So the cost of machinery is not 310, it is 310 plus 20, which is 3,30,000, part of your investing cash flow. Next, 8% preference shares of face value 10 lakh were redeemed at 3% premium. Redeem means what? To cancel or to pay back. You're paying back what? Preference shares. So payment to preference shareholders is part of what? Finance activity. How much did you pay? 10 lakh? Yeah. They said, I don't want 10 lakh, I want 3% extra. That means you're paying them 10 lakh 30,000. Yes, part of your finance activity. So far there, 60,000 equity shares of 10 each were issued at 12 rupees for this purpose. So you gave away some additional equity shares whose face value was 10, but however, the price at which it was given was 12 rupees. So how much money you got in? So you are preparing cash flow statement. Don't think face value, balance will go to securities premium. You are not doing a journal entry. You are doing cash flow statement. That means you are interested in total inflow. So total inflow is 12 rupees per share and 60,000 shares. So summation will be 7,20,000. Part of your what activity? Equity shares given a part of your is a way of raising money. So it's part of your finance activity. Next, you gave what? Dividend of 40,000 and 1,10,000 was paid on equity and preference shares. Both the guys are part, they gave you what? A finance. So whatever dividend you pay to them is part of your what? Again a finance activity. Total sale is 32 lakh. However, in that cash sale is 11.5 lakh. That means balance sale will be credit sale. Am I interested in credit sale for cash flow statement? For the time being, no, because there's no cash relevance there. But how about cash sales? Part of your day-to-day operation. So it's an operating cash flow. Total purchase is 8 lakh. However, cash purchase is only 60. Where will that 60 come in? Operating activity. Expense was paid for 12,40,000. That means if they don't tell what is the nature of the expense, you'll assume it's part of your operations and put it under operating activity itself. Tax we paid, however, that included dividend tax of 22,500. Total tax you paid is 3.3 lakh. In that 3.3 lakh, 22,500 is included. So what should we do? Tax paid, everything I'll put it under operating. 22,500. Why will you pay dividend tax? For dividend. So dividend paid is what activity? Finance activity. So dividend distribution tax paid on this is part of your finance. So 22,500 should go under finance activity. Balance should go under operating activity as a separate header. Okay. All right. They've given some additional information. They've given 2011 and 2012. Always pay attention to the order in which they're giving that years. They do interchange. It is not always in the ascending. They give it sometimes in the descending. They'll make it 2012, 2011. In hurry burry, everything is right, but you just read the heading wrong. Full strike. Obviously, because everything what you are effectively doing the statement for last year. And every working note will go for a toss. Opening balance will become closing balance. So every number is wrong. But if you interchange, everything will be correct. So like that. So you'll not get any marks ideally in such cases. So always pay attention to the dates also. These are small bit things but makes a huge difference in examination. So they've given debtor ka opening balance and they've given debtors ka closing balance. 2011 means 2011 ka closing balance will automatically become 2012 ka opening balance. That's how I'm saying opening and closing. Normally they will give you a balance sheet for 2 years. Instead of giving opening and closing balance, they'll give off 2 balance sheets. Similarly, creditors ka what have they given? Opening and closing. Unpaid expense is nothing but your, they've given outstanding expense ka opening is how much? So last year we thought we had to pay outstanding expense of 63,000. This year we feel outstanding expense is only 55. That means what? We have repaid how much? 8,000. 65 minus 55. Payment of all this is what? Part of your operating activity. For everything, ledger is not required, a working note is not required. If it's straightforward, we can write it there only. Yes? Can we start? Before that, one thing you tell me, why did they give debtors ka opening and debtors ka closing? They did not give cash received from debtors. Last problem it was given. Here in this problem it is not given. So hence that's the reason they said total sale is 32 lakh and cash sale is 11.5. That means 32 minus 11.5 will give you credit sales. Now debtors ka opening you know, closing you know, credit sales you know, balancing figure is cash received from debtors. So other things are also there, no sir. Discount bills receivable. Lack of information. Assume all of the others to be 0. Okay. So they've given debtors and creditors information to find the cash received from debtors as well as cash paid to creditors. Once you do those two working notes, you can start with your cash flow statement like the way we have done it in our last problem. This is question number 1. First we do have the working note. Working note number 1 was for what? Working note number 1 was for sundry debtors account. Have they given the opening balance? Do we remember that opening balance should come on the debit side only? We remember. Very nice. I thought you left all foundation there only. Okay, how much is the opening balance of debtors they've given? 1,50,000. Similarly, they've also given by balance. We'll write CID. How much? 1,47,000. Balance carried down. And you can also find out what? Credit sale. What is the journal entry for credit sales? Debtors to sales. 100%. Yes, sir. Why are you insulting us by asking such questions? So total sales is how much? 32 lakh. In that, cash sale is how much? 11.5. That means balance will be 20.5 lakh. That is nothing but credit sales. If you just check this side, total is 22 lakhs. That side total also should be 22 lakhs, but it is not so. We are getting something as balancing figure. How much is that balancing figure? 20 lakh 53,000. What can come on the credit side? Cash or check received from debtor. So we'll write it as by bank arrived as balancing figure. This was for your debtors. Can I go for the working note number 2? Working note number 2 is for your sundry creditors account, or just creditors is also fine. First thing, what will we write? No sir, first we'll write date particulars amount and also ledger folio. By balance brought down. How much is that? 78,000. Similarly, they've also given the closing balance. To balance carried down given is how much? On creditors, how much is that balance for? 83,000. They gave purchases. Total purchase was 8 lakh. In the cash purchase was 60,000. Balance 740 is credit purchase, and the journal entry for credit purchases. So posting will be by purchases account, that is 8 lakh minus 60,000, which is 7,40,000. Ideally ledger should match on both the sides. So this side total is how much? 8,18,000. That side also should be 8,18,000, and the balancing figure we're getting is 7,35,000. What is that? Check or cash paid to creditors arrived as balancing figure. Unpaid expense, we got to know that we have repaid 8,000. Working note not necessary. We'll directly bring it in cash flow statement itself. Can we do the statement? Cash flow statement of which company? Of A Limited, as on which date? No data. They gave no. 31st March 20 X2. particulars amount. First bucket is cash flow from operating activities. So we have already identified the O's in the problem. What are the O's? We already wrote in the question. You didn't write them? Okay. I mean, tell me, what are the O's? One is cash sales, which is given to be 11.5 lakh, or maybe we'll write in full number. Corresponding thing to cash sale is cash, no, rather, okay, corresponding is that only, but we'll write off cash from debtors. First inflow we'll write. It's not necessary, you have to, but most of the books present it that way. Inflow minus first all the inflows and then outflows. Ideally, I would say just go with adjustment wise. In whichever order they have given the adjustment, keep doing it that way. Otherwise, there are chances of missing out a few. So how much is cash received from debtors? We got it as balancing figure. 20 lakh 53,000. Then they have given cash purchases, that is given to be 60,000. Cash purchase means inflow or outflow. So minus, we can also accommodate cash paid to creditors. They didn't give, but we prepared working note number 2 and got it, which is 7 lakh 35,000. Again an outflow. Did we pay for any expense? So expense paid is how much? 12 lakh 40,000. Again, we still have one more we have related to expense, that is, okay, we'll use the same name or else, unpaid expense. The opening balance was 63,000. The closing balance is 55,000. That leads to an indication that we have paid off 8,000. Yes. So everything is captured except tax. Tax we'll do it a little later. Just do this. So it'll be cash flow from operations before tax and extraordinary items. How much are we getting that to be? 11 lakh 60,000. Deduct the tax. Tax, will you deduct 3 lakh 30,000? No, 3 lakh 30,000 also includes dividend tax of 22,500. Eliminate that, you will get how much? 3 lakh 7,500. Okay, that's it. So if you do all this, what are you going to get? Net cash flow from, is there any insurance claim, earthquake settlement, anything like that given in the problem? Those are what we refer to as extraordinary item. Something which is totally different from your business. Claim received and all. Okay, something which, we have AS5, we'll cover what are those extraordinary items, some more, some standard is there. Oh, but that is there, and now I think it's moved to group 2. Okay, cash flow from, net cash flow from operating activities. We'll call this as A. That A happens to be 8,52,500. Signs are important, plus or minus. Plus only. In fact, we are maintaining 3 amount columns, no? 2 amount columns. So we'll write it the baju wale column. So which is 8,52,500 you said, huh? Okay, A is done. Next let's go for B. B is for cash flow from investing activities. So what are the investing components we identified? The first one only, which is what? Furniture sold or bought? Sold. You sold it for what price? So it's an inflow. And then machinery purchased. Though they said the cost was 3.1 lakh, we also know we have to add up installation cost of 20, so it becomes 3 lakh 30,000 cash outflow. Next, anything else is there? No, so everything is covered. So if you give me the number, I'll update it. So this is net 3 lakh 18,000. Okay, net cash flow from investing activities, we'll call that as B. Three lakh 18,000. The last leg of the problem, which is negative. Huh? Awesome, sir. I was just checking, are you alert or not? Cash flow from finance activity or financing activity also you can write. Okay, first one is we redeemed, redemption of preference shares. Face value of that was 10 lakh, but we didn't repay them at face value, we gave 3% extra. So the amount is 10 lakh 30,000 outflow. Did we give any equity shares also? So equity excuse me, equity shares issued. How many equity shares did we roll out? 60,000. At face value is 10, but we gave it at 12 rupees. That means inflow or outflow? Inflow of 7 lakh 20,000. Next, dividend. We have paid 2 dividends, no? Preference dividend paid. How much of preference dividend did we pay? 40,000 outflow. And then equity dividend paid, which is 1 lakh 10,000. Dividend tax, we paid some dividend and there is corresponding dividend tax also, and that happened to be 22,500. So this will give me net cash flow from financing activities, which we'll call it as C. How much is that C now? And plus or minus? 4 lakh 82,500 minus. So we have everything. Next we will do A plus B plus C. To that we give a fancy name as net increase slash decrease in cash and cash equivalents. So that is given by A plus B plus C. How much is that number and what is the sign of that number? Plus or minus? Plus or how much? 52,000. To this, if we add what? Opening cash is not given, no? It's given, we didn't type there, I guess. Opening cash is, make it as 73,000. Closing is given. Opening is 73, closing is 125. Make that a correction in the question. Opening cash 73, closing cash 1,25,000. Opening cash and cash equivalent balance. Opening cash balance is 52,000. How much did I say? 73,000. 73,000. So add this. How much you getting? How much I told the closing also as? 1,25,000. So we are getting the right answer. Closing cash and cash equivalents balance. That's it. Anyone has to copy this working note? No. This one also done, no? Or anywhere you want. This is also direct method. You can write that. Cash flow statement of A Limited as on 31st March. Today's session, matlab, I'll tell you whenever indirect method starts. And direct method is used only to find out what. The method is there as direct indirect only to find operating. Investing and finance will not change. It will be the same. So if you want here also you can write cash flow statements from cash flow from operating activities in bracket direct method. But most of the books at the top only they'll write off, so you can, it's fine, you can present it either way. Yes, so copying front done now. All right, next problem then. Third problem, let's see how well you understood. You do it here in the class. First problem, direct method is very, very simple. Let's see, you read the question. I'll give you 5 minutes. You solve it. Let's see. Attempt. You got the answer already, yeah? No, sir. Not able to understand only. Read again. Let's see. All right. First one. They have given cash sales. How much is cash sales? 48 lakh. They have given COGS. It is 75% of sales, it seems. I mean, COGS will be how much? 48 lakh into 70%, 75%, which will be 30. None of them got the answer, by the way. Nobody got. Opening and closing was there, also there, by the way. Hardly 3-4 adjustments were there. You didn't get? Nobody got? That is a shame. Okay, no, we didn't try. We thought it was an unofficial break. Okay, no worries. Happens. Closing inventory was higher than opening inventory by 50,000. If opening inventory is 1 lakh means closing inventory will be 1,50,000. That's what they mean by that. Closing balance of creditors exceeded opening balance by 1 lakh. If opening balance of creditors is 2 lakh means closing balance of creditors will be 3 lakhs. Don't know why they gave that, but anyway, we'll see. Tax paid is how much? 1,50,000. It will go under O. Cash sales also will go under O. What about the COGS, inventory, blah blah and all? We don't know why the hell they gave that. Yes, we'll figure it out. Amount paid to creditors also O. Admin selling expense also O. Gosh, cost of new machinery purchased is I. This time I. And dividend paid as a finance activity. So it's very small problem, isn't it? Calculator could have solved it. Anyways, we'll do it. Question number 3 was it? Cash flow statement of which company? Again, name missing means you write A Limited as on 31st March 20X2. particulars amount okay, first component is still it is cash flow from operating activities only. Okay, any data that we read belongs to operating activity? One, cash sales. In fact, in the question there was one typo, one thing not printed. Here you're right. That's the reason we didn't solve, sir. Cash sales. All goods are sold for cash only. This line was not meant. That means there is no credit sale. All the sales are made on cash sales only, cash basis only. All the goods are sold on cash basis only. That means entire 48 lakh is what? Cash sales, which itself is your total sales. So plus 48 lakh. Next, did we have any amount paid to creditors? Amount paid to creditors was how much? 35.5 lakh. Was there any expense, anything we paid? Yes, we paid what? Administrative and selling expense we paid. And how much did we pay? 3,60,000. Do all this, how much you're gonna get? Sir, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're not considering few informations only. I know, Papa. Okay. I'll assume that you didn't ask that question and I don't know you. And just go with that flow. Later we'll see why we ignored all that. Net cash flow from net cash. We have tax also here. Huh? Yeah. So net cash flow from operations before tax. Just a format, okay? If you don't have extraordinary items, leave it. It's okay. Just write before tax also in exam. That's okay. Here maybe we can include it before tax and extraordinary items. How much is that? 8,90,000 plus or minus? Plus 8,90,000. We had now tax, right? So tax paid is how much? 1,50,000. That means net cash flow, or one second, you will just write cash flow, not net, you know. Net cash flow from operating activities. We'll denote that as A, and that A happens to be how much? 890 minus 150 is 840, so 740. 7,40,000 plus. Okay, second one, cash flow from investing activities. Only one investing activity was there. That is what we had. Which one did we purchase? Machinery purchased. Is there any installation charges, anything? No. Machinery purchased is how much? 6 lakh. Inflow or outflow? Outflow. So that means the net cash flow from investing activities, call it as B, is still how much? 6 lakh negative. Third one, cash flow from financing activities. Only financing activity we had was dividend paid, and dividend paid happens to be 1,20,000. So the net cash flow from financing activities call it as C is still 1,20,000. Next we find something known as net increase / decrease from cash and cash equivalents, which is A plus B plus C, and the number is how much? Plus or minus? Plus 20,000. It seems to that we should add opening cash balance. How much is the opening cash balance? They have given 50,000. That means compulsorily we should get what? Closing balance. We are getting 70. How much have they told in the problem? 70. That means whatever we did is correct. So we should ignore those adjustments given. Solution is done. So simple, no? All you had to do was ignore. That much you couldn't do. So much in class you have practice in ignoring only, no? So you couldn't ignore one information. Okay, over. Move on to the next problem. Sir, what sir? What is this? We lost when you did operating activity only. Yeah. There afterwards we start paying attention only. Now we started ignoring you. Alright, so they've given few information which we have ignored. Why did we ignore? Let's consider it. We'll see what result we get. Based on that, we will feel we should take it up or we can move on. Okay. First, they told what? So we'll write it as what? We'll write amazing name. That is unnecessary notes. Okay. What is that unnecessary notes? First one is COGS. How much they told COGS as? 75% of sales. Sales is how much? 48 lakhs. So COGS will be how much? 36 lakh. You got it? We know the equation for COGS also. What is COGS? COGS is nothing but opening stock plus purchases plus direct expense minus closing stock. This is the equation for COGS. COGS we already got it as how much? 36 lakh. They told one relationship between opening and closing stock. What is that relationship? Closing stock is higher than opening inventory by 50,000. You can assume any number, but the difference between those two is always 50,000. Yes or no? Just for the equation, you can assume any number. Doesn't matter. Because the difference, you're subtracting, no? From opening stock and closing stock, you're subtracting. I mean, that subtraction will always be how much? If this is 1 lakh means that will be how much? 1.5 lakh. If this is 1 crore means that will be how much? 1.50,000. No, 1.005 crore. The difference between these two will always be 15,000. So we are anyway solving an equation. So you can assume some numbers. Possible? Correct? No. Let's assume it as opening stock be 1 lakh rupees. Simply. So the closing stock will be 1.5 lakh. Is it necessary you have to take that number, or any number is okay? Any number is okay, because the difference between those two will always tantamount to 50,000 only, no matter what you take. Yes, guys. Yes, purchase is not known, so we'll keep it as is. Direct expense is not given, we'll take it as 0. From this equation, can you solve purchase? How much will be purchases then? 37.5, 36.5, no? Josh may started everything, adding everything. Okay. So purchases is 36.5. If you go for sale, they told that all the goods are sold on cash basis. Purchase did not mention anything. That means all the goods are sold on credit basis is the assumption, because cash sales clearly has been mentioned. Cash purchase is not mentioned anywhere. That means all this purchase was on creditors, and they also told amount paid to creditors. That is another indication. That means all these purchases are on what? Credit basis. Are we okay with this? Everybody? Yes, sir. Is this information useful for me for my cash flow statement? Using this COGS, I will be able to derive purchase, no matter, correct? I got it to be 36.5. Useful or unnecessary? Unnecessary only. Let's prepare creditors account, since that information is also given. Okay, other unnecessary only. What have they told? Opening balance of, what did they mention, pa? Closing balance. Which question is? Closing balance of creditors exceeded opening balance by 1 lakh. Assume any number, answer will not change. So how come we can assume? Unnecessary, no? That's the reason I'm asking you to assume. So if opening balance is 1 lakh, that means closing balance will be, to balance carried on will be, the difference between those two will always be 1 lakh. No matter which number you assume, it doesn't matter. Okay? So we got now what? Purchases. What is the journal entry for credit purchase? Purchases account debit to creditors. How much is this? 36.5 lakh. Total of this side will be how much? 37.5 lakh. This side also will be 37.5 lakh. You're getting something as balancing figure. How much is that balancing figure? 35.5. What is that? Cash paid to creditors, which has already been given. Then why the hell are you doing all this drama for? Hence becomes unnecessary. So even if you do it, what number they gave, that only you will arrive, no? Anyway, this is given. Something which is given, you are arriving it as balancing figure. So there's no point in doing that working note. Hence these are unnecessary. You can write it down for your reference. Please don't write it in examination. Neither the note nor the heading of that note. Okay, copying. Hope we got understood now why we ignored them. Now the notes, anyone has to copy? These two notes? No, unnecessary. No, they said why to copy. Okay. So we don't have much time to solve indirect method wala problem. We'll just write some notes about it. If possible, understand what those notes are and then take it up in the tomorrow's session. So with this, direct method is done. All the remaining problems are indirect method, and more often than not, indirect method is something which gets asked in your examination, because direct method is very simple. Cash flow statement is supposed to give you some thrills. So direct method doesn't offer that much of thrill. Okay, hence we go for indirect method. So the next thing, in fact, if you have already left a few pages like I asked you before, only I told you, for any chapter have 1 or 2 pages blank to accommodate, you can include, or else write wherever you can, and do remember to refer this page on the examination day. It's like your summary sheet for cash flow, indirect method. No time to revise cash flow statement means this one sheet kind of helps you to revise. So you can write pointers for indirect method. It's not exactly, we'll not write them as 1, 1, 2 and all. We'll make a small format. But you know, you got the point, I guess. Particulars, amount. I think 2 is okay. Alright. The first thing, or our starting point under indirect method, is net profit. Net profit could be anything. It keeps changing in the problem. I will assume that they have given one particular type of net profit and do few adjustments. That is not the case in every problem. When we come to the problem, we'll refer the sheet and we'll see why we are not doing what is mentioned here. Okay, because net profit will keep varying in every problem. There are various net profits. Here I will take the net profit as net profit as per balance sheet I will write. Net profit as per balance sheet. This will be given in the problem. Okay, we'll start with that and then do some adjustments. First adjustment we do is add back non-cash expenses. Add back non-cash expenses. And the example of that could be depreciation. If depreciation is for tangible asset means amortization will be for intangibles. Transferred to reserves like CRR, general reserve, etc. CRR is capital redemption reserve. We have done bonus, there we came across this. GR is general reserve. Loss on sale of assets. Preliminary expense, comma, deferred revenue expense, comma, discount on issue of debentures, etc. Leave 2-3 lines blank. In the problem, if we encounter more non-cash expense, we will update the sheet. So that this sheet will be like both theory wise as well as practical wise, it will work out. 2-3 lines or some, maybe 2-3 more will come. But when we see the problem, I'm able, out of my memory, I'm able to recollect these. Fine. We'll see. The remaining will update it. Add back non-operating expenditure. Non-operating expenses, if it is there, means you add. The examples of that could be interest paid. Dividend paid would be very incorrect because we don't show it in P&L anymore, because I mentioned something that I mentioned in evening batch, but still in our IPCC level we can still consider this. Interest paid, dividend paid. I think these are the things that I can remember for the time being. Leave another 1 line or 2 lines. If we encounter more, we will update it. Less what? Non-cash income will be. Non-cash income, you can probably, you can take it as one, you can think of as profit on sale of asset, but that will be a little incorrect to say non-cash, or better one will be, we'll use the word, this anyway format, non-operating income will write. Non-operating expense. Non-operating incomes. Under that we will call out interest received, dividend received, profit on sale of asset, profit on cancellation of preference shares / debentures. I think that's all I can remember. Leave again 1 or 2 lines. We'll see if need be, we'll update. These you do. If you do that, what you get is, adjustment column, you have to just write plus xxx, and then wherever you're adding plus xxx, less xxx you do, you get some number. That number we call it as, just a format, these are cash flow before working capital changes. Cash flow before working capital changes you will get if you do that, this number. Then we consider something known as working capital changes. In working capital changes we write increase in current liability means plus, decrease in current asset means plus, decrease in current liability means minus, increase in current assets means minus. Must have done this all this in a BCom. Okay, if you do this, what you're going to get is cash flow before tax and extraordinary items. From this, deduct tax paid. The final number that you get is what we call it as net cash flow from operating activities. This is the format. First portion anyone has to copy? You can bring it in non-operating, that's fine. If you want this, you can transfer it here, non-operating, because when you are selling there is a cash inflow. To say it as non-cash would be maybe a little uncorrect. Maybe push that, cancel there and bring it in here, that's okay. Was that your doubt? Last time we wrote it there, so we are writing. It's okay, no worry. As I said, like on these sale, right, there is an inflow, cash. So better presentation will be put it under non-operating expense or non-operating income, better. Anyways, these are headings, guys. In the exam, when you're solving, you really don't have to mention I'm adding non-cash expense. You give the heading as non-cash expense and then do. You don't have to do that. Directly adjustments you will add or you will subtract. So you don't have to bother too much about the heading there. Heading I have given so that easy for you to remember. That's it. Fine. Alright. So next, non-operating portion. This portion anyone has to copy? No, finished. Is this okay? Can we just look at why we are doing this? Alright, so method we are solving is what? Indirect method. And indirect method is only applicable for what? To find out operating cash flow. Investing and finance, no change again. So here we start with, our starting point is what? Net profit. That net profit varies from problem to problem. I've assumed that they have given the balance sheet wala net profit. Based on that, we have done certain adjustments. What do I mean by profit from balance sheet is? They will give you balance sheet. 2-year ka balance sheet. In balance sheet, there will be something known as P&L account. First year balance sheet P&L account is 1 lakh. Second year balance sheet given P&L is 1,50,000. Assume. First year it was how much? 1. Second year it is 1.5. 1 became 1.5. That means what? Current year profit increased by 50,000. Or rather, current year we made a profit of 50,000. We'll start with that 50,000 and do the adjustment. Is this okay? Got the clarity over that? Don't worry about too much about the numbers. We have almost like 10 plus problems we will be doing there here. So you'll get used to it. Okay. First thing is you have to do some adjustments. Why should I do adjustments first of all? Why should I first of all do some adjustments? Why can't I take net profit itself as cash flow and move on? Net profit of 50,000, operating cash flow also 50,000 and move on. One P&L is prepared on accrual basis. But for cash flow statement, we only require cash inflows and cash outflows. That means P&L will have some non-cash related items also. Yes or no? P&L, first one you are adjusting is what? Non-cash expense. In P&L, you will book all expenses, whether it is cash or non-cash. Yes or no? So some examples of non-cash is depreciation. We'll take one. Depreciation is an expense. What does expense do to your profit? It reduces. Because of depreciation, your profit is reduced by some amount. Let's say 10,000. It is reduced. Depreciation is reduced your profit by 10,000. Did you pay cash to anybody 10,000 or it is non-cash? Non-cash. You're using what as a base to get operating cash flow? You're using profit as a base and you're trying to find out operating cash flow. Because of depreciation, if your profit is reduced by 10,000 means indirectly your operating cash also has reduced by 10,000. But in reality, did the cash go out? No. So that means what we should do? Add back. That is the necessity for the first adjustment. Same logic holds good for all of them. They all have reduced profit and they are all non-cash in nature. That means cash is still the same. Hence, to get cash flow, correct cash flow, what we have to do? Add back. So another example is amortization. Same. Transfer to reserve. Transfer to reserve means what? From P&L, we transferred it to, let's say, general reserve. 5,000 rupees. That means what happened to P&L balance? Same or did it reduce? By how much? 5,000. Did you pay cash to anybody outsiders or cash is still within your organization? But what happened to your P&L? It reduced. If your P&L got reduced means you're using P&L as a base to get operating cash. So because of this adjustment, your operating cash flow also has been reduced by 5,000. So which is not the case. In reality, it didn't happen. So what should we do? Add back. Hence, that is the concept for all non-cash expenses. Is this okay? Same preliminary expense also. This is just a write-off. Preliminary expense is written off, right? Correct? Or we'll take it up when we come to the problem. Maybe this is a little too much for you. So okay, we got the logic of why are we adding non-cash expenses? Because they are reducing your profit and cash did not go out. Hence, to get the correct cash picture, we have to add back. Though I'm using the word cash, we know that it is not just cash, it is cash and cash equivalents. So first, okay, addition part is fine. Next, what we have said we are adding? Non-operating expenditure. One such example we have given is what? Interest paid. In fact, don't write interest paid. Let's be specific here. Interest expense, you write. It does make a huge difference. When we come to the problem, we'll understand that. Maybe a little early stage to discuss all that. Instead of interest paid, we'll write interest expense, you write. Don't use the word paid. Just use the word interest paid. I mean, interest expense. Okay. You took a bank loan and you paid interest of 5,000 rupees. Okay. You took a bank loan and on that bank loan, there is an interest expense of how much? 5,000 rupees. Interest paid is an expense or interest is an expense. All expense will be transferred off to P&L. So because of this, what happened to your P&L account? P&L account balance got reduced. But why did you pay the interest? Because you took loan. Loan taken is operating activity or what activity? Finance activity. So that means interest paid on loan is also what activity? Finance activity. But because of this adjustment, your operating cash has been reduced. So what should we do? Add back. Because it is not operating it's not an operating expense, it is a non-operating expense. Once more, okay. Same for dividend also. You paid the dividend. Dividend you'll pay out of profits. When let's say you paid 1,000 rupees dividend out of profits. So what happened to your profit? P&L account got reduced. Yes or no? Correct, guys? You're using P&L as a base to get what? Operating cash flow. Why are you paying the dividend? Because you have some money raised in the form of equity shares or preference shares. So equity shares given, preference shares given is what activity? Finance activity. So dividend paid on equity shares or preference shares is what activity? Finance activity. But this dividend has reduced your operating profit. In a way, it has reduced your operating cash also because you're using profit as a base. So what should we do? Add back to get the operating cash flow. Yes or once more? Everybody okay? Last one is, if you understood the first two, last one is just an easy one, which is what? Non-operating income. P&L will not only have operating incomes, it will also have some other incomes like interest received. Why will you receive the interest? Why will you receive the interest? Because we made some investment. Correct? Investment made is what activity? Investing activity. So interest received on investment is also investing activity. Interest received is an income. All income also will be transferred to. So interest received is an income. All income will be transferred off to P&L. What impact interest received causes on your P&L? It increases your profit. Yes or no? But interest received is what activity? Is a investing activity. But this has increased your operating profit and it has also increased your operating cash flow. That means what we should do? Since it is non-operating in nature, so what should we do? It has increased. So we have to subtract. hence minus non-operating income. Got it? Yes, sir. Same goes for dividend received also. Dividend received is what activity? Dividend received is what activity? Investing activity. Correct? But you will still transfer this also where? To P&L. So income, if you transfer to P&L, means P&L balance will increase. And if your P&L balance increase, means your operating cash balance also increase. But is it operating activity or non-operating activity? So it has increased your operating cash, so reduce it. Hence dividend received also minus. Fair enough? Profit on sale of asset also same logic. Sale of asset is what activity? Investing activity. So any profit or loss made on sale of asset is also what activity? Investing activity. But profit means it will increase your P&L account balance, and in a way it will also increase what? Operating cash cow balance. Hence what should we do? Minus. Are we going fast or able to get what I'm saying there? Okay. So do these three adjustments. If you do these three adjustments, what number you get is known as what? Cash flow before working capital changes. And then we do something known as plus minus under working capital changes. What have I written there? Increase in current liability means plus, decrease in current assets means plus, decrease in current liability means minus, increase in current asset means minus. We'll do enough problems, so this will become like a formula that you'll mug it up, but there's a logic to it. Since you have done it in your BCom, can you tell me why are we doing this? One is very easy to say, decrease in current liability. I'll give you an example. Opening balance of creditors was 10,000 rupees. Creditor ka opening balance was how much? 10,000. Closing balance is just 3,000 rupees. Opening was 10, closing is 3. That means creditors is reduced by how much? 7,000. That's what we mean by decreasing current liability. Okay. In our example, how much has it reduced by? 7,000. How can it reduce? You would have paid the creditors some money. So payment of creditors means it's a cash coming in or cash going out. So it's an outflow. All outflows are given in bracket. So minus. So this is easy. Yes. Decrease in current asset also is self-explanatory. Opening balance of debtors was 10,000. Closing balance of debtors is 3,000 still. Opening balance of debtors was how much? 10. Closing balance is only 3. That means what? We have collected some money from debtors. How much money did we collect? 7,000. It means it's an inflow or outflow? All inflows, what do we do? Add. Hence that. This is okay. But same logic can't apply for this and that. Can you tell me more or less? Actually, that's not the correct logic, but still, can you try attempting for these two? Increase in current liability and increase in current assets. Just give you a minute. If you don't get it, I'll give you an example and prove that. But when I'm talking about cash flow statement, I'm only talking about cash as an asset. I'm not bothered about other assets, right? So purchase asset could increase, but I don't do cash flow statement if my fixed asset increases. Correct? I'll only do my cash flow statement only if I pay for that in the form of cash. Because name itself is saying cash flow statement. I'm only interested in cash components. Correct only, but not relevant for cash flow statement. Okay. Anyone?
If your inventories increase, there will be increase in current assets. But since you have paid cash or cash equivalent, it will be reduced.
How can you assume that it's already paid? It could be credit purchase also, no? I purchased today, I'll pay after 3 months. The moment I purchase today and pass an entry, and if I don't sell it, it is part of my inventory. But I'm paying after 3 months. Possible that this could be the scenario. 30th March you purchase. Payment you will do it on 10th April. 31st March it will be closing stock for you. But still unpaid. Maybe in some cases what you're saying is okay, but not in every case. So logic means it should work under all scenarios. So probably not the one I'm looking at. What sir? Advance what sir? Oh, he's assumed the other way around. First only we paid off, sir, and then we're doing it. Not a mandate, right? Right? And moreover, advance, though, most of them don't pay. No, they look to prolong the payment as much as possible. Yeah, subject to few things. But anyways, you have to pay. That's fine. Agreed. But we are preparing what, sir? Cash flow statement. Cash flow statement means only cash coming in or cash going out. If it's going to go out in future, I'm least bothered about that. I want to know how much went out today, or as on that particular day, or during that year, or how much came in during that year. That's all I'm interested in.
So,
Yes?
for current assets, when current asset increases, the amount we receive will, the cash which inflow will reduce. So in company we maintain as working capital cash as more. So that's why it's reducing the cash.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Okay, that one. Others are wondering what is she saying. Okay, no worries. We'll probably take up a small number game and see if that makes sense to us. Which equation you wanted to prove, by the way? Liability, right? I'll prove it for one. Is it okay? Other one will automatically fall in place. We'll take up this increase in current liability. Are you happy with that? What happy, sir? Okay, give me an example of current liability. Or maybe I'll only take creditors. Creditors is an example of current liability. We are proving what? Increase in current liability. Let's say opening balance of creditors was 1 lakh. Opening balance of creditors was how much? 1 lakh rupees. Just assume numbers. You can assume any numbers, equation will work out. Excuse me. Took balance carried down. 1 second, hang on. By purchases. Let's say the closing balance is 1.5 lakh. Opening balance is assumed to be 1 lakh and closing balance I'm assuming to be 1,50,000. Let's say purchases. Okay, 30. No, I have so much big numbers. 4 lakh. Credit purchase is 4 lakh. So what is the total this side? 5 lakh. This side also should be 5 lakh. Assume no discount received, no bills receivable endorsed and all that stuff is not there. It's a simple transaction. You buy and you pay. No discount, nothing. Okay. So this is 5 lakh. That means there is a balancing figure. How much is that balancing figure? 3.5 lakh. Correct? Ledger will match. Somehow don't write suspense and all will match. So 3.5 lakh is what? Cash paid to creditors arrived as balancing figure. Any doubt in that example? This I'm arriving at as balancing figure. All other three numbers I've just assumed. Fine, sir. Okay. So what does our equation say? What does our equation say? Increase in current liability means you should plus. You should add basically. What was the opening balance of creditors? What is the closing balance of creditors? 1.5 lakh. That means has it increased or has it reduced? 1 has become 1.5. That means it has increased by how much? 50,000. That means what should I do for this 50,000 in my cash flow statement? I should add. Now we are trying to see the logic of why we are adding this 50,000. Okay. Now check. Purchase golden days. Where will purchase go to? Trading account. Which side does it come? Debit side. Yes. Can I say debit side of trading P&L is for the expenses? All the expense come on the debit side, all the income come on the credit side. Yes or no? Correct? So purchase, in a way, can I call it as an expense? It's not really an expense, but just comes on the debit side. For understanding purpose, can I call it as an expense? Are we okay with that? Expense means what impact it has on profit. It reduces your profit. Yes or no? How much it has reduced your profit by? 4 lakh. Yes? You're using what as a base to get cash flow statement? You're using what as a base to get operating cash flow? Profit. Because of purchase, what happened to your profit? It is reduced by 4 lakh. Yes or no? But did you pay cash to the extent of 4 lakh? How much cash did you pay? 3.5 lakh. That means how much you should have reduced? Only 3.5. But purchase has reduced your profit by how much? 4 lakh. That means it has cost minus 4 lakh. Yes or no? What does our statement say? Increase in current liability means plus. So I will add plus 50,000 for this. How much am I going to get? 3,50,000 minus. What is that 3,50,000? Cash paid to creditors. Hence the method name indirect. We are getting the cash information in an indirect way. That is the logic of considering those numbers. Irrespective of whether you got it or not, it's ideal that you understand this. But even if you didn't understand, we are doing so many problems that plus minus will actually stay. But better to know, because in examination we don't know what will happen to us sometimes. Plus sometimes looks also like minus. So that time if you get confused, all these things will help. You can construct an equation and come back. How many of you got this? Got it? Or how many of you didn't get this maybe? Better question is that. Once more, anybody? No? Yes sir? What? You're not answering. Okay, maybe for few of others benefit, let's prove a current asset also. One current asset will take. Which equation is that? This one will take, it's okay. One and the same, everything will based on the ledger only it is. So whichever it is, I'll have to assume some numbers in the ledger only and derive. Is it okay if I prove this? Decreasing current asset, yes or no? Okay, give me an example of debtors. You already gave an example, which is debtors. Which equation are we trying to prove? Increase in current asset. So that means to balance brought down, increase only, no? You want it? So let me take your numbers then. You give me your numbers. I'll take your numbers and go ahead and prove. 10,000 he wants. Okay. Opening balance is 10,000. Give me one number for closing balance. Give me something which is more than 10,000 because the equation we are proving is increase in current assets. Huh? Okay, I heard 12, so I'll go for this 12. I also told 15, sir. Okay, next time I'll hear you. So opening balance is 10, closing balance is 12. So increase in current assets. Give me a sale example. A number higher than 2,000, please. Any sale number, any credit sale ka journal entry is debtors to sales. Give me any number higher than 12, it's fine. Higher than 2,000, please. Huh? 35,000. Oh, bah. So this side total is 45,000. That side also should be 45,000. You're getting something as balancing figure. How much is that? 33,000. If all these numbers are getting means you will get 33,000 as balancing figure. What is that? Cash received from debtors arrived as balancing figure. Okay, guys. With this example. Now, on our cash flow statement, we are doing it as formula. What are we doing it as formula? Increase in current asset means we have to subtract. Increase, no, not decrease. Increase only we proved. Right? Increase in current assets means, actually you gave me the other round. We told we'll prove that one. Okay, no worries. Increase in current assets means, check if you want. Increase in current assets means minus. Is that okay? We thought we'll prove that and it became ulta. Thanks to you, your example. So increase in current asset means, so no sir, I wanted that only. Hence I structured this way. So increase in current asset is minus. So that means how much was the opening balance of debtors? 10,000. Closing is how much? 12,000. That means it has increased by how much? 2,000. That means what will I do here in my cash flow statement? 2,000 I will minus. That's the final result in cash flow statement. In CFS, that is cash flow statement, I will minus 2,000. Okay. Now the logic for this. Look at this component. What is this? Sales. Sales comes on which side of trading account? Credit side. Credit side I can call it as income side. If income increases, what will happen to your profit? Higher the income or higher the sales, higher the GP, higher the GP, higher the NP. And you're using NP as a base to get operating cash flow. Am I right in saying that? So if your sale increased by 35,000, what will happen to your profit? Profit also increased by 35,000. If profit increases by 35,000 means your operating cash also has increased by 35,000 because your profit is a base for operating cash. But did you really get 35,000 cash from debtors or how much did you get? 33,000. So what does our equation say? Increase in current assets means what do you do? Minus. So minus 2,000 you do. How much you going to get? 33,000. What is this 33,000? Cash received from debtors arrived as a balancing figure. Got it? That's the logic for those equations. Yes, sir. Awesome. So till here we are done. Now it's time up. That's the reason they're looking at me differently. Last is tax paid, which we have covered. Afterwards, if you do all this, you're going to get net cash flow from operating activities. We'll apply them and I'll also give you one more format tomorrow and then we will start applying them in tomorrow's questions. Thank you.